This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which is recorded live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The Barbecue Central Radio Show is being brought to you by the Barbecue Guru, the original creators of automatic temperature control devices, now offering 4 different models for you to choose from. Rest easy knowing that the Barbecue Guru is controlling your pit temperature so you can get on with your life. Visit bbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU for more information. And by Fred's Music and Tasty Licks BBQ Supply, your online barbecue and grilling superstore. From cookers to grills, wood chips and chunks, and everything in between. Also be sure to try the Tasty Licks barbecue brand of rubs and sauces. Check Fred out online at tastylicksbbq.com. And by Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Located in beautiful Willoughby, Ohio, Stephen DeFranco Jewelers is a family-owned and operated business looking to service the great folks of the barbecue and grilling world. Get free shipping and big discounts by mentioning my name and the term Barbecue Brother. Check out their inventory by visiting StephenDeFranco.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, with 30 years of experience in retail, wholesale, meat markets, food service, and customer service. Using that experience, everything they do and sell at Butcher's Barbecue comes from real-world knowledge. Check out their award-winning spices, sauces, marinades, and injections by visiting ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher.
And by iGrill. The iGrill is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that allows you to monitor the temperature of your food and smoker or grill from up to 200 feet away. Using the free iGrill app for your iPhone, iPad, and Android devices, you can set preferred temperatures, and your smart device will alert you when it's ready. It's perfect for cooking steaks to perfection or low and slow smokers overnight. Head to iGrill Inc., that's the letter I, grillinc.com to learn more. And by Barbecuer's Delight Wood Pellets, the barbecue wood pellet choice of competition cooks and backyard hacks just like me. The perfect blend of 2/3 oak and 1/3 flavor wood gives you that right BTU burn and flavor that you're looking to get all over your meat with smoky goodness. Visit bbqrsdelight.com. And by R&O Smokers, a custom pit builder using innovation and art in each of their cutting-edge, offset, and vault-style barbecue pits. Located in the heart of Texas near Fort Worth, Granbury has been the home to R&O Smokers since the beginning. R&O Smokers has continued to widen its range using visionary planning both on the design level and the quality of craftsmanship to bring their customers the finest custom pits on the market. Please get in contact with Billy, B-I-L-L-I-E _RO Smokers at yahoo.com or Tony at Tony _RO Smokers at yahoo.com or visit their main website, the letter O, RNO Smokers.com. And by Green Mountain Grills. Discover something you're really going to love. Cooking with pellets. Green Mountain Grills are widely available across the country. Top-of-the-line manufacturing, but not the highest in price. Visit greenmountaingrills.com to get started on your pellet adventure today.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Hey, all right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. It's the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. I think 2 weeks ago, proclamated as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. Finally. I think I said that like 2 weeks ago. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. Should you see fit to jump in the show tonight, 2 ways to do it. It's a toll-free call, 877-448-0433. You can also email the show if you would prefer. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. Of course, you can do neither. Just lay out, enjoy the show for the fun and frivolity that it is. And perhaps English next week, perhaps become a little bit more educated about the industry that we so passionately and fervently believe and support. Hey, got a guest in the studio from the Wycliffe Levans. It's Amy Levon, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Amy is AJ's mother.
Yes.
Do you claim him as your own?
I do.
All right.
Today.
And we were supposed to, as fans of the show, would know that AJ caught the tail end of the first hour and it sat in for the first part of the second hour. We were talking about Thanksgiving and what he may or may not eat. And much to the dismay of a lot of the Centralites, said that not only did he not like stuffing, but was not a fan of the mashed potatoes. So we struck a deal. I said, hey, AJ, if you eat mashed potatoes, just even a dollop, you can come on the show next week and recap. And it was kind of like the enticement of getting him to try something new and using the show, almost like an enabler of drugs.
Yes.
Right. So,
whatever it takes.
So I guess maybe he's sleeping in anxious anticipation of the show. He fell asleep. Many people do that during the show. He decided to do it before the show. That's fine. So maybe we'll get him in the beginning of the first hour tomorrow for the Hump Day barbecue show. But look, you're his mother.
Yes.
What's with the no eating potatoes with this kid? Talking to the microphone.
Is this better?
That looks weird.
Does it look weird?
Yes.
Hello. Unfortunately, I have to say he gets it from me. I don't eat any turkey or mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving.
No turkey?
I hate it all.
Wow. I was making fun of him for being French, but at least he eats turkey.
He does.
Oh. Well, see, folks, breaking news. The cycle of terror can be changed from generation to generation.
So true.
So he does eat turkey, but no mashed potatoes. Is it like he just doesn't like the taste? Because he eats French fries and like regular kid potatoes.
I think it's the consistency.
Doesn't like that gritty. Well,
Yeah.
you know, you can. Sometimes I believe you can't really screw up mashed potatoes, but then
You can.
yeah. So they could be like gritty, or maybe even too soupy, like
Yeah.
yeah. You know, like runny.
They weren't homemade,
white.
so
Yeah.
no good.
Oh well. There you go, folks. Breaking news right here on the show. All right. So you allow me to come down here once a week, twice a week, for a total of 3 hours to do the show from your basement, because currently there is no new Barbecue Central studio to broadcast from in the basement. How has this time been for you? Having I guess what you would call a web celebrity in the basement.
It's kind of exciting. I kind of brag about it.
Do you?
I do. So
Yes.
Tuesday night, it's barbecue show time.
Many of the Centralites weighing in saying thank you for allowing me to do the show.
You're welcome.
Because otherwise, I think, like, how many weeks in a row are we going now?
3. I think this is week 3,
no,
isn't it?
I think it's more than that.
Is it?
I'm sure one of the Centralites has been diligently keeping track and will tell us. I want to say it's at least 4. Yeah, I think it's at least 4. Could be 8.
Wow.
It seems that long.
It seems. It does.
How much of an inconvenience has it been to have me set up shop down here in this prolific basement?
Nothing. Nothing at
None?
all. None.
Would you say...
I just am afraid like the kids would break something if they were down here.
On a whole, would you say it's been a joy?
It's always a joy with you, Greg.
All right. Stuff I love to hear. Well, this is all good stuff. I just want to say thanks for letting me hang out.
You're welcome.
And I have no... I can... The only thing I can tell you is what our builder told us. It will be at least 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks, you'll be here. I'm excited
What
to
does
have
that
you.
mean? I don't know.
See you in 4 weeks.
It'll be at least 2.
At
It'll be at least 2. I want to give a special, I never say this term, shout out, but I'm going to suck it up this time and say shout out to my friend He is a barbecue legend and icon. You see him on this show every once in a while. He's becoming a regular, recurring guest. Steven Reichlin of Barbecue U fame, multiple-time author, best-selling author. He unsolicited. The last time he was on the show, we were talking about how like what he was going to do for turkey, and he was going to loosen the skin of the turkey, like work his hand underneath, and then he was going to put truffles and other such stuff. And then finally, I said, you know what? This is the guy to ask. He is a lover of opulent items, and I don't even know what that means. And I said, what is a truffle? Like, what does that taste like? So he went through this whole big, dissertation on, where they come from and how they taste and flavor profiles that they add and all this great stuff. And I was very thankful. And then unsolicited, and I don't know how he got my shipping address, but evidently he has these Steven Reichlin grilling butters. And I think he mentioned them on the show during that process, but just like out of nowhere. They just showed up one day at the new house that isn't finished. But we did the change of address. So, if you're going to send me T-shirts or free stuff, you got to hit me up for the new address. Don't send it to the old address. People will be reveling in free stuff, and they won't tell me about it because they're renting bastards. I love you, renters. I love you, renters. So now I have 5 of these Steven Reichlin grilling butters. There's a black truffle butter. There's a white truffle butter. There's an herb, and it comes with all of these recipe cards and which ones to use. Like one you're supposed to use with steak or burgers, and the other one is supposed to be chicken, and you dollop them on and let them kind of melt over, and it's supposed to add this tremendous taste to foods that I guess you would normally taste like that. So I'm very excited to try it. And once we get into the new house and you guys come over for a dinner or 5, we'll try them out together so we can get a full panel review of.
Oh, that would be good.
Have you ever had truffles?
No, I always thought truffle was a dessert, so I really have no clue what the heck's going on.
Truffle butter and truffle oil.
Ooh, I love some truffle.
Truffle cookies.
Are you going to have to feel up the bird, though, to put the butter in?
Man, if I can't feel up a bird, I don't want any part of it. I'll be especially paying attention to breasts and thighs and legs. And if it's lucky, I might spatchcock it.
Spatchcock?
That's right. You know what spatchcocking is?
No, what is spatchcocking?
Well, next time you come over, I'll show you what a spatchcock looks like. Trust me, there's bones involved, if you know what I mean. You don't know what I mean.
No,
that's the problem. It's funny. All right. Well, in any event, that's. I do want to thank Steven Reichlin. So he teamed up with a company. It's French. It's called Eau de Lace de Bois, I think. If you're interested, I will actually copy and paste the text into the email and send you the link to the website. They've partnered. Steven's invested in it. I don't know if what kind of a buy-in he's got on that, if they're just using his name, but I believe it was contrived together between the owner of this company, Eau de Lace de Bois, and Steven Reichlin. And I'm just very excited to try. I just don't have the ability to try them out right now, but they're safe in my in-laws' refrigerator downstairs in the basement, so they are keeping just fine. And we'll see how that goes. All right, so we have coming up on the show tonight Sterling Ball from Big Papa Smokers. He'll be up next for the next 2 segments, and then in the second hour, we'll be joined by Tim Grant from True Bud Barbecue, talking a little Team of the Year, because as we all know, it's knotted at the top. Warren County Pork Choppers and True Bud, and a tie for first. So you knew that.
I did.
Of course.
Just reading about it.
That's right. Cleveland Plain Dealer. Big expose on Kansas City Barbecue Society stuff. All right, before we get to Sterling, let me talk to you about R&O Smokers. R&O Smokers is it's 2 styles, really. You have a traditional stick-burning style offset pit. You also have the option of going with the vault style. Wait a second here. Just got a text message from... What is going on here? I think my father-in-law, Bob Bell, just sent me a text message when we're talking about compound butter. Gooder than F, he said. It must not be that good, because then he would go to the gooder than 2 Fs. And there's nothing better than gooder than 2 Fs.
No gooder.
Absolutely. Arno Smokers based in Granbury, Texas, and you have the option of perusing their website. I would, of course, recommend that you visit my website first, thebbqcentralshow.com. Look for their logo. Click on the logo. That will direct you to their Facebook page, which is where they do the majority of their communication, updates, promotions, and so forth. And then give a call or an email. You can get in touch with Billy Overton, BILLIE_Overton at yahoo.com, or Tony Belay, TONYBALAY _RO Smokers at yahoo.com. Either way, or both, send an email to both. I mean, you can get two different opinions from the same company. Hoping to have them on to talk about the big Arno Smoker shootout that they have coming up, but had trouble actually firming up an interview. Maybe I'll have to grab Tony, much to his chagrin, next week to talk about. I mean, who knows? But here's what you have to do. Again, go to my website, click on their logo, or go to the sponsors page, or go to the links page, click on Arno Smokers. That will redirect you to their main Facebook page. And stop by there weekly. They're doing giveaways, believe it or not, with their barbecue partners. So a lot of the times on this show, you have a chance to win free stuff. They have something similar set up there on their Facebook page. So maybe you win something here, you turn around the next day, go over to the Arno Smokers website, you can win something right there. You've won twice in a row. Go play the lottery if that happens, because you're luckier than anybody on the face of the earth. Arno Smokers, proud sponsor of this show. Happy to have them. And we will step away briefly, and then we will load in Sterling Ball to talk about King of the Smokers, competition, scoring systems. I mean, who knows what Sterling's got on his mind? We'll find out right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Had to launch down underneath the production desk. Make sure we could get the Skype interview in tonight. My first guest tonight, an American Royal Invitational winner. He is an internet sensation when it comes to the business of barbecue. Some would say a maven. Can we use the word maven for men?
Sure.
Why not? When it comes to rub making and being a pitmaster of a competition cooking team, he is, of course, doing very well in that regard. You can find his website at bigpapasmokers.com. That's bigpapasmokers.com. So without any further ado, we've been on the show maybe once or twice before. We welcome in Sterling Ball to the show. Sterling, how are you, bud?
I'm fine. Hey, thanks for having me.
Sterling, my pleasure, and I appreciate you making time for the show tonight. I know you got a busy schedule with things coming up this weekend, which we'll obviously get to here in just a second. But if you don't mind, before we get into all the good stuff, maybe for the folks that don't know, or maybe they haven't dug...
5'11".
What's
5'11".
5'11". Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask how tall I was.
5'11" and 185 trim pounds, I would imagine, right?
That's my driver's license.
That's right. Now, for the folks that maybe haven't dug through the archives of the show and heard the previous interview that I've done with you, maybe a little background about you, how you got into competition barbecue, why you started in competition barbecue, the business of barbecue, all that good stuff.
Well, it's sort of like if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. And I had bought a couple smokers, and the guys at work, Jody and Brad and stuff, would come by and assemble them. And I kept buying them because I figured I've always been a cook. And when I got these indirect heat grills, I figured I could teach men how to cook. And so I decided I'd come up with this website and make some videos and stuff. And Jody comes to me and goes, "We want to compete." I said, That can't be any fun at all. And they got hammered, and got second place in ribs. And so I showed up, and next thing you know, they all go off and have kids, and I'm still cooking.
Is it mere Sterling? Is it mere luck that you go to a competition, get hammered, and walk away with second place, or is that part of the process?
Well, I don't drink, so I don't know. But they didn't get. They got more hammered the second contest, and came back talking about something about a table of death.
We'll probably get into that a little bit tonight. Table of death.
Yeah.
I think maybe what's interesting as well, and I don't know how much you want to talk about it, is that other portion of industry that you're in, which happens to be in the music side of things. Are you involved in both extensively, or are you more a barbecue guy than the Ernie Ball portion of things?
No, I'm so deep in Ernie Ball, it's not even funny. I'm opening a new factory right now. It's a crazy deal. I mean, the guitar. My father was a guy named Ernie Ball, who was a pioneer in guitar products. And at 22, I took over his business, and it had 14 employees, and it's been wonderful. And my sons are in it now. We now sell to 110 countries, and about every third of a second somebody buys one of our products. So, no, I'm still deeply focused on it. I just don't sleep as much. I just finished designing a guitar with a guitar player named John Petrucci at Dream Theater, and they have very rabid fans, so that's been interesting. That took 2 years.
How does one balance, something, the enterprise of the Ernie Ball companies, and then also be so active in the barbecue community? I mean, not only are you competing, but you've taken it to the next level, starting last year with that King of the Smokers, which obviously we'll talk about here in just a second. But, competing is one thing. Putting on a competition is certainly taking it to the next level. So how are you able to kind of find that time, or how do you divide time for both?
Well, I think some of the guys will tell you, Rod and Darren and all the elite guys, Scott and stuff. I start at 5 every morning. I usually cook. People always ask on Facebook, who's Big Papa's cook? Well, it's me. And I usually cook, and then I have to be back in the house. I work in a man cave, and I have to be back in the house at 9:30. So that's sort of how I do it. But everything I do, I love. So, I mean, I love the music business. I love the barbecue business. I've got dear friends in both, and, I'm just not – I think that, I'm 58 years old, and I think you're supposed to slow down, and I don't want to, A, grow up, or B, slow down.
Who does? Sterling Ball joining us here on the show. BigPapaSmokers.com is the website if you want to check it out here while we're talking. Also, KingofTheSmoker.com if you want to have a little preview of what we're going to be talking about here next. So, Sterling, let's kind of roll into that. King of the Smokers contest. The question that I got most within the 2 or 3 hours when the newsletter went out was, A, who's competing? And then, of course, moreover than that is, how do I get an invite? So it is KCBS sanctioned. It's in that competitors series, so there's not points or anything like that. Maybe you could address both questions. How do you get the invite, and who's inviting?
Well, first of all, my elite team gets invited. Not my elite team, but the elite team. And from there, I like to have some legends. See, I don't think my idea of having a contest, first of all, I should back up, is that I think that we all need to put on a better show. And I think we need to entertain the fans and treat them as patrons. And so my idea was to treat the teams as great as I possibly could, not let the fans in until 1:30, and then at 1:30 ask them to pay back that to the fans. And so there's a lot of really neat little details in King of the Smokers. Number one, there's no garnish, there's no electricity, there's no pellets, which is sort of interesting because Big Papa Smokers is the number one Mac pellet dealer. And I sell a lot of Barbecue Delights pellets, so I sort of don't make sense sometimes, but it's a little bit old school. They all have to cook the same meat. It's a level playing field. There's no sides on the easy ups. Okay, and I provide the easy ups. It's 4 walls open. but it's done at the beautiful La Quinta Resort, and it's not to be confused with the La Quinta the motels. This is a 5-star resort, and this resort has bought into the idea of hosting the finest barbecue contest in the country, and that's what we're trying to do. So there's 26 casitas on this open lawn, and everybody's smoker is right in front of their casita. And it's kind of neat because it's Christmas, and one of the casitas is where Frank Capra wrote It's a Wonderful Life.
Sterling Ball joining me.
We put Darren in there this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Sterling Ball joining me here on the show. Let me ask you something, and we might have touched on it a little bit last year when we were talking about it. But you talk about kind of making it an old school competition. No automatic temperature control devices. Everybody's using the same meat. Do you think competition barbecue in a way has gotten away from itself, and you're kind of trying to rein it back, or is it not really about that?
Well, first of all, I would never think that I've got the power to do anything like that, nor would I want it. But yeah, I think it's crazy. I think it's out of control. I think that we're. I think competition barbecue, was about a group of friends getting together and seeing who could cook bad meat the best. And it's certainly elevated, and it's like they talk about controlling the golf ball in golf. There's no control of barbecue. And I'm going to be putting on a series of contests later in the year called B2B, Back to Basics, where it's a $400 entry fee, and your meat's included, but it's a selector choice brisket. It's a pork butt, it's 3 racks of ribs and some chicken, and the categories are going to pay 10 deep overall and in categories. If I get the right sponsorship, a $10,000 purse on 50-team contests. I think it's too expensive for the average American family to compete a serious schedule, especially the way everything's kind of stacked. I really admire Harry Sue for going out there with his little Smoky Joe and getting 3 or 4 calls that time, because he really was making a point about, his extreme is not much different than my extreme or the other guys with trailers.
Sterling, what you mentioned cost of competitions, and that's really one of the, well, there's a number of reasons, but that's probably one of the biggest reasons that I've never decided to jump in. I mean, I don't have the ego to see where my meat stacks up with everybody else, but more importantly, if I'm going to drop $600 or $700 or more during the course of a weekend, it's going to be at my house. There's going to be kegs of beer. There's going to be vomiting and diarrhea going on by the end of the night. I mean, it's going to be a blowout instead of going somewhere.
Maybe redheads with amnesia.
Yeah, maybe if I'm lucky. But it just seems like I don't want to go and get my ass handed to me for that type of an expense. Even if I win it, some of these contests are paying $1,500 or $2,000 grand prize. I mean, it's some recoup, but when you're really out there doing it, it just seems like it's hard to make money at it.
Well, last year at King of the Smokers at the team meeting, I asked how many of them were cash flow positive.
Yeah.
And these were, they weren't the top 24 on the money list, but they're 24 high-profile cooks. And 3 people raised their hand. And one was Johnny Trigg because he'd won Pitmasters. Another was Rod because of his season and sponsorship. And then Grills Gone Wild Iowa for coming in second at Sam's. Look, I'm not bashing KCBS. I want to make sure that I'm not getting on saying I know everything. I'm just saying I think that there's room to reel it back in and kind of bring it back to what it might have been more like. And I'm really, I've been doing it 4 years, so I'm a newcomer talking about old school. But I see people out there that really, it's a tough deal. I don't think it's right. I think that it should go back to more cooking bad meat good. And, keeping with my being a walking contradiction, I'm the exclusive supplier for Screw Branch Wagyu briskets, who are sponsor of King of the Smokers. I love them dearly. There's still a place for that in barbecue, but I think there's kind of a hole that's getting bigger and bigger. And the Pitmasters, which has been so wonderful for it, I think pretty soon that can't cover that this situation is there.
I wonder, instead of maybe trying to, I'm not saying that you are, but, instead of trying to to bring it back to potentially what it was. Is there a sustainability aspect of splitting into a true professionals series? Because nobody knows better than you. There's a small handful of teams out there in KCBS that are really doing a serious schedule. We're talking 30-plus competitions during the course of the year. The overwhelming majority aren't doing that by any stretch of the imagination. So is there a viability to create some type of a circuit for X amount of teams to travel around to 20 or 30 contests and have maybe even the same judges travel around with them for consistency reasons and open up a pro circuit that way?
Yeah, I think so. But I think that, one of the beauties of competition barbecue, too, is that, I think poker and barbecue are the only ones where you can kind of show up and be next to one of the legends. But I think there's a possibility to maybe massage all levels of barbecue. But I think that one of the things that happens is people about their third or fourth year have dreams of making a run for team of the year. And that's a pretty hard thing to do. And, when you look at this year's race with Tim and Boyd getting 16 GCs and being tied and how much they've put into it and how much they've traveled. And, I cooked 22 times. My goal this year was to be in the top 10 in the category. And I made that. I set individual or things like trying to get 180s or 700s. And, because I know that I'm probably not good enough on one hand, but I also know I can't with my schedule. 22 weeks is really hard for me to do. When you talk about, there's 4 businesses I'm involved in, and it's a real commitment.
Let me get back to, we got off track, and I apologize. We were talking about the King of the Smokers contest, kingofthesmokers.com if you want to check it out. Last year, this thing, after it took place, had on a number of pit masters just to get their take on it. And, man, to the man and woman raving about how professional it was and how everything that they needed to have was at a moment's grasp, and really said it was one of the better, or if not the best competition during the course of the year. And this was just your inaugural event. So as you look forward to this coming weekend, what did you learn last year, and how did you kind of grow and progress into this year?
Hey, Greg, let me mess you up and answer the first question, who's cooking and why. It's not the top 24 teams in KCBS.
Right.
It's a lot of the top 24, okay? In the first couple of years when you're trying to create a major, which really what I'm trying to do, chemistry and personality is really important, okay? And from there I want legends, okay? I want Jamie Gear there. This year we have Mike Mills cooking. Mike Mills doesn't cook.
Yeah.
He certainly can, and I'm so honored to have Mike Mills. But I've got Rob Down from FBA. I've got Mark Lambert, Memphis and May, 2 out of the last 3 years. I've got John and Ronald McGee, who are just wonderful people from Seattle, 3 times PWNBA. So really, I have quite a few segments of barbecue. I have Ronnie and Michelle Wade that everybody forgets about when you talk about great teams. And I think they had 13 or 14 GCs and 138 in their career. And that's representing Texas and IBCA. So it's representing a lot of the different organizations, bringing them together, competing under a unique set of rules in the competitor series. And then there's a few sponsor invites. Couple. And I think that rankles some people last year, at least before I got killed last year. It really was just annoying how many people took shots at me for doing this. And all I said was, look, I'm putting on a contest that didn't exist before. If I do a bad job, it won't happen again. But at least it's another chance for some people. It was absolutely just ridiculous. And the reviews started coming in. And this year it's been pretty good and pretty nice. I think people have been very supportive.
Sterling Ball joining us here on the show. BigPapaSmokers.com is the website, also KingOfTheSmoker.com. You had kind of referenced it a little bit earlier when we were talking about the event in a general sense, but, traditional barbecue contests aren't fan-friendly. There's a lot of hiding. There's not a lot of people being able to taste or learning about it. And look, I mean, it's a contest for sure, and there's got to be some time reserved for the pitmasters to get their job done. But also, and I think you understand that there has to be some kind of a promotion to continue the growth of the sport, right?
Hey, it's not a chicken versus the egg. The fans drive the sponsors. You give the fans, you exceed their expectations on the experience they're going to get, the sponsor's happy. There's too many one-and-done sponsors, at least on the West Coast. Listen, most contests don't even have a place for the fans to sit.
Yep.
I mean, and most people are putting their trailers or their easy-up covers blocking the aisles. One of the problems is they let the fans in too early. And really, maybe the idea is having fans come Friday night and really doing a good job of giving them barbecue. Because I think fans go to barbecue contests because they really like barbecue. They're really curious about it, and they want to taste great barbecue.
Yeah.
And when they leave, we've slaughtered the curious most times.
Sterling Ball joining me here on the show. Sterling, I'm going to put you on hold briefly. I'm going to do a quick read here for Butcher Barbecue, and then we'll come back and pick up our conversation. Good with you?
Oh, sure.
All right. Sit back, relax, and we'll be talking about a lot of other stuff here with Sterling Ball from Big Papa Smokers and the guy that is responsible for putting on King of the Smokers, which will be taking place this weekend. Folks, I can guarantee you one thing. Some of those teams over at King of the Smoker are going to be using Butcher Barbecue products. That's right. Well, maybe you didn't know Dave Bosca himself uses his own products. Crazy concept, I know. Somebody that makes products that is actually using them on the competition scene and doing very well with them. We all know about Butcher products, right? It's the injections, the pork, the beef, the prime, and, of course, the bird booster now, which is tearing up the market. Also, the rubs and the sauces. You got the brisket rub, you got the honey rub, you got the premium rub. If you are using Butcher's injections, the premium rub is especially formulated to work hand-in-hand with those injections, giving you that perfect 1-2 punch for not only judges, but if you're like me, the backyard guy, you get the hearty hand clasp and high fives from all the dudes in the neighborhood. Secretly, women want to get with you because you are perfect with your injections. You go to butcherbbq.com for more information or to pick up your products from there. And, of course, I think it's no surprise at this point. When it comes to barbecue sauce, I'm a little bit snobby. My palate is my own. I trust my palate, just like I tell everybody to. So I'm typically not a fan of a lot of the mass-marketed sauce. But somehow Dave has hit one out of the park, at least in my opinion, when it comes to taste. It's Butcher Sweet Barbecue Sauce. I recommend picking up at least 6 because, A, the shipping isn't going to kill you, but you'll be surprised how fast it goes. I mean, I'm in a room full of women, a house full of women, and typically when all of the broads are eating it and enjoying it, somebody's got a winner on their hands, and that's Dave Bosca over at Butcher Barbecue. Now, if you've bought an injection from somebody else and it's not working for you, scores start to tumble if you're a competitor, the high fives start to die down in the neighborhood, no problem. Dave's got you covered there as well. Go to the website, butcherbbq.com, then click on the trade-in link at the top right. Print off the sheet, send whatever you have of your commercial injection back to Dave. He will weigh it. That weigh is final. And then at your behest, he will send you back the prime injection, the pork injection, the beef injection, or the bird booster you specify, and then he will send it back to you. So not only is he making his own customers happy continuously, but now he's trying to make his competitors' customers happy as well, and he's the only guy out there doing it right now. It's Dave Bosca over at Butcher Barbecue, butcherbbq.com. That's butcherbbq.com. And as we always say, always trust your butcher. You always say that, right, Amy? You always say it? Always trust your butcher. That's right. All right, we're back with Sterling Ball right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, Suburban Waste Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots.
All right, we're back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com is the email. We're talking with Sterling Ball here from Big Papa Smokers. Sterling, as far as the contest itself coming up, do you have you've invited, as you said, legends and newcomers and top teams out there right now. Do you have a handicap on who you think might do well this weekend or who might have the best shot at winning?
No, but I think I always feel chicken's a little different. They're getting 2 whole chickens, and so they don't have 6 thighs. How they butcher it, and the prevailing thing is who does really well in chicken usually is going to win it. Last year, Chris Lilly won chicken and won it. So no, I think that it's a really, really hard field, and I think it's really hard. And now, one of the things is I don't know who won. I'm the promoter. I run the awards thing. I have Deloitte, the tax firm, the accounting firm, certify the results. Kelly and Kathleen McIntosh are the greatest reps on earth, in my opinion, and they run that part of the contest for me. But I also have a guy from Deloitte, and the checks are written on the back of the envelope is the place. I don't know until I open the envelope who won, and it kind of is fun because, like I said, I stay out of the judges' tent.
You talk about the 2 whole chickens aspect of this whole thing. Do you feel that it is showcasing a pitmaster's skill to be able to kind of cook all the different colored meats at the proper temperatures and not dry one out or undercook one side if they're focusing on one or the other a little bit too much?
Well, I think that at this level you should be able to butcher chicken. You should be able to cook it. You should be able to cook everything about right. But, you got to do something to make it not the same as in some cases these people do 40 times a week, 40 times a year. I mean, so I guarantee every one of these guys has practiced chicken. Although Rod claims he hasn't, he's thought about it a lot. So, no, I think that it's very interesting. You talk about we let the fans in at 1:30, and I'll give you an idea of our schedule. This is $20, and I want to tell you about the charity too. But at 1:40, Jamie Geer talks about Jambo pits and how he builds them and the airflow and how to use them. At 2 o'clock, there's Left Coast Q, Matt Dalton and Mo. They're doing a BPS Rubs demo, but they won 8 times this year. And then there's a Hot and Fast BBQ at 2:20 with the PNW, the 2013 Team of the Year, Wine Country. 2:40, Mark Lambert's Sweet Swine of Mine is doing one. 3 o'clock, Terry Sue. 3:20, Steph from Simply Marvelous, who's the other half of the West Coast offense, is doing one. And then Darren Worth, our poster boy this year, is the American Royal Open champ this year in Kingsford, is doing a question and answer. 4 o'clock, Andy Groneman, Smoke on the Wheels, is going to talk about marinating injection. And Rob is going to do something on turkey because he did so well at Pitmasters with it. And then at 4:40, Hogtied is going to do brisket tips because they're the number 1 brisket team in KCBS. And it's $20 to go to the King of Smokers, and 100% of it's donated to the Casey Lee Ball Foundation for Pediatric Kidney Research. And we're going to raise over $200,000 this week.
Wow. And
that, by the way, is $200,000 contribution. That's not a gross. That's a real check being written.
And this is $20, so if I just happen to be right around that area, I could walk in, pay my $20, and get all this great information.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's the schedule. And also, you talk about getting good food at the barbecue. The teams the night before are going to season some ribs for me. We're going to have 100 racks of ribs seasoned. We're going to have some butts and some briskets. You won't be able to tell whose food you're eating, but I can tell you it's at least the flavor profile of one of the top 24 teams out there. And thanks to Old Hickory, who gave me a very nice deal on a big pit, I brought Stan and Will from Operation Barbecue Relief. And they're going to be cooking the meals, and they're $10 each, and 100% of the proceeds of the meals go to Operation Barbecue Relief. And then we'll be writing a matching check for whatever they do that day.
Sterling Ball.
I went and cooked in Oklahoma and saw them. They're unbelievable.
Oh, easily one of the best organizations to come out over the last couple of years, right?
Oh, in any category.
Yeah.
And I went because I wanted to get involved, but I figured the best way is to see them in action. And I went there with Matt Dalton and Steph Franklin, and we only spent 2 days. Tom Moore went with one of my rigs for, I think, about 10 days. But the thing that nobody really realizes, if you haven't done it, these people have lost everything. And these guys are busting their ass serving 5,000, 10,000 meals a day. And I tasted the food. It's like really good. That's the surprise. I mean, it's not just slop. They're cooking really good food to these people.
Sterling Ball joining me here on the show. BigPapaSmokers.com is the website. Sterling, I don't know where the best way to kind of segue out of the King of the Smokers, but it's happening this weekend. If you're around, you pay $20, you're going to get to take in all of the fun and festivities. It's benefiting a great charity, as you had mentioned, and 100% of that is going to that particular charity. And is there anything that you can, or that you feel that I've left out or that we haven't talked about in regards to tying up King of the Smokers?
No, you get a golden mic, Greg.
All right, good. All right, so let's get into some weird stuff, and not really weird, but at least it's somebody that is going to be free to talk about some things that maybe a lot of people mention in the back rooms, but don't want to talk about it out loud. You know, this year KCBS made a change or an upgrade, or however you want to look at it, but now teams are able to see where they land on tables in those respective scores, and I don't know if people ever wanted it to really show that the myth of hitting the bad table is kind of something we joke about, but confirmed by any number of pitmasters out there this year. Is this something that they're going to have to address going forward, or is it just a little bit of a hiccup in the road that really is more of an internet holler than anything else?
Well, okay, I've got a lot of opinions on this, but here's what I hope they do. Just like any business, I hope they look at the data, and I believe they will, because these are smart people. See how I'm brushing up to them in case they're listening?
Oh, I agree with you, too.
Candy Sue's coming out and judging. But it's so interesting if you watch the internet. There are guys who say, we don't want to change anything. It's part of barbecue. And I'm saying, before we say we're going to do anything, can we agree to at least study the data? Because we have data. We've captured data. Okay, we know, and all the talks about the table of death. Let me give you one of my things. I don't want to hear anybody that's cooked more than 20 weeks talk about the table of death. And if you've cooked 30 weeks, I really don't want to hear it. And 40, you should be embarrassed talking about the table of death, because there's just as many overjudging as there is underjudging. But remember, everybody's kid's pretty and everybody cooks good. But you get to, in the system, you get to keep your good cooks. And that's why one of the reasons it plays into it being such a numbers game. But really, I mean, on the surface, you would have to throw out some good scores. You can throw out some bad ones. I think before you can evaluate a judge, you've got to know what he was presented or she was presented with. And we have all of that if you just look at golf, between an index, a slope of the contest. I think one of the first things that has to be changed, though, and I will say this very firmly, is that team count can't be the only thing to determine field strength with all the data we have. It's got to be number of teams. It's got to be team strength factored in there, too.
What about these? You have the Big Papa Smokers elite teams. Now, we talked about teams going to the King of the Smokers, but you have Big Papa Smokers elite teams. What is that program exactly, and how does one potentially become available for that?
Well, number one, you have to have credibility, and you have to use and win with our products. Okay, in the guitar business, we have everybody from the Beatles to Eric Clapton, to John Mayer today. I mean, throughout the thing, and the one thing we never did was advertise somebody who didn't use the product. So, and there's a geographic factor. It's got to be the right group of guys. And the thing everyone's got to understand is that they're competing for charity. They're not competing for money, and I don't pay them. They're competing for the right to, if they win a category in KCBS or win overall, Big Papa Smokers will make a donation in their name to a local children's charity of their choice. Okay, but then it's about camaraderie, it's about collaboration, and it's about charity. And I think this is the first time in barbecue where we've strung a bunch of teams together from different parts of the country and really they have shared input. They do share tips and secrets. They're pretty good at knocking somebody down if they get a little too high, and they maybe picking them up when they get down. But it truly is a team. And Darren said it. I mean, I was so proud when Darren said, I've never been through anything like this. This has been truly the best sense of fraternity and camaraderie. And he gave it a little bit of credit for the season he's had.
Who's at the top of the leaderboard right now?
Who's what? Top of True Bud.
Yeah, True Bud is at the top.
In just about everything. Darren's got a chance at one, but Tim and Boyd, I think this is something they've had their sights on winning it all early on, and they've just done an incredible job. But you know what? Everybody's still way into it, and we're going to have at the banquet. We've got the awards presentation / roast, and it's going to be a fun roast, actually.
Sterling, before I let you go tonight, there's something called BJ's Brew House that you wanted to mention. I myself am not up to speed on that, so what can you tell me about BJ's Brew House?
It's so funny. It's a 142 chain restaurant, and I got asked to go in and help them in barbecue in the summer, and they don't have a smoker. So I had to create barbecue for them, and it did very well. And the interesting part about BJ's is that they asked me to continue working in their culinary development team, and they're all CIA chefs and not the NSA CIA, but Culinary Institute of America. And I just finished. I spent one day a week there for the last 6 weeks creating items for their February menu. And I'm so excited. Tomorrow is when they get tested for the final menu. And it's about testing yourself in different areas, and that's been just an absolute blast. So I got 9 items that aren't barbecue going on their menu, and if you've got a BJ's Brew House around, it's kind of fun.
Is that primarily like West Coast based, or are they scattered around the country?
They have them in Florida, Texas, Ohio. They have them in Ohio. They just opened in Maryland and Tyson's Corner. It's really fun to try and test yourself and try and put yourself in different situations. And this was truly right in the heart of my love of cooking, and to be able to create and watch how big chains test the product. And I sat in a room with a closed circuit focus group. It was really interesting. I really loved it.
Sterling Ball joining me here on the show. So if you're by a BJ's Brew House, check it out and sample one of Sterling's creations, non-barbecue related. BigPapaSmokers.com, the website. King of the Smokers will be taking place this weekend, so we'll see how that shakes out. Sterling, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for letting me talk too much.
No, my pleasure, Sterling. You know that. Sterling Ball, everybody. BigPapaSmokers.com, again, the website. And if you want to check out the roster of teams that will be taking part in King of the Smokers this week, not Donnie Bray, not Tim Grant from True Bud Barbecue, feel free to stop over that website and check it out. Plus, Sterling selling a wide variety of barbecue-related items. So feel free to check out his website. Again, kingofthesmoker.com for the competition this weekend. And if you are in the La Quinta area, I'm not overly familiar with the West Coast stuff, but $20 going to get you a lot of information. You'll be able to rub shoulders with some of the top teams out there right now, some of the top teams that have been in barbecue. We call them legends, and some of the new guys as well. So if you're in that area and you got $20 to burn, I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? You're donating $20 that it's going to get turned around and given to a great charity. All of it, not a portion of the proceeds, all of it. Sterling obviously very passionate about that, and I certainly appreciate somebody that understands the importance of giving all the money, right? All right, we're going to come back with a quick contest. How about $20 gift certificate to the Barbecue Superstore? Then we will wrap up the first hour. But first, let me talk to you about the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control device products, the creator of this technology. Look, if you're looking for a gift this coming holiday season, I mean, we're in the midst of holiday season, and automatic pit temperature control devices have been at the top of that list check out the Barbecue Guru. Go to thebbqguru.com. Give them a perusal. These are the people that created this technology. There are others out there on the market. But why would you bother going somewhere else when you are at the height of technological advance with the Barbecue Guru? I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I'm not just saying that because they've been the longest-running sponsor of the show. No. I mean, understand how the product works. I know people that have those products that have had products since they've come out in the beginning, and they still work, and they're still supported. If you're a little intimidated because you have maybe 2 or 3 different kinds of cookers or whatever the case may be, and you're not sure which one to pick out, give them a call, 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. And they will make sure that you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. For instance, they have the CyberQ Wi-Fi unit that is absolutely insanely popular. You have a smartphone device, a tablet, a laptop, a netbook, any type of Wi-Fi connection. You can access your CyberQ Wi-Fi from that device, and you can see where your temperature is running at. You can see up to 3 or 4 different meats. So if you're cooking a little slow, you can bump the temperature up of the cooker. If you're running a little fast, you can bump it down. And it's great. And technically, you never have to get out of bed to make any temperature adjustments or see where your pit temperature is at. Do it all right there from your bed with your smartphone or your device. Let's just call it device from now on. 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. Don't forget about the Onyx oven as well. That'll work seamlessly with all the Guru devices. 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru, a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We're back with a contest right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Now the time on the show when we give stuff away. Gonna give it away for free at no cost. So get ready to send that email right now.
All right, we are giving away a $20 gift certificate to the Barbecue Superstore. By the way, shout out to Paul Richardson watching on Roku. Good for you, Paul. Enjoying it in high definition. Send me an email, and in the subject line, Big Papa Smokers. Big Papa Smokers. You can win a $20 gift certificate to thebbqsuperstore.com. Thanks to all the gang over there at the Barbecue Superstore, Rich Parker and the rest. Big Papa Smoker. Get you a $20 gift certificate to the Barbecue Superstore. Good luck.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Big Papa Smokers is the email address, or is the subject line of the email you want to send me if you want to win that gift certificate. Matt Bauer thinking he should get himself a Roku. Yes, you should. You might have to consider getting the Roku 2. I don't know if that's like next generation shit or what. I might have the Roku version that gives you like 720 viewing. I've yet to be able to watch this show on Roku, while it's happening live. I think that would be too distracting. Plus, I think there's like a 55-second delay, maybe more. So, Paul, whatever you're watching, I already said like 55 seconds ago. So when I just said that was like 55 seconds ago. Thanks again to Sterling Ball for joining me this past 2 segments. Talked about a number of things, mostly about King of the Smokers, what he is, benefiting charity-wise, how he is benefiting charity-wise, most important. A lot of great teams are going to be there. Again, if you have $20, you're going to be around there in the La Quinta area, or the resort, the La Quinta Resort. Show up. Again, you're donating to a great cause. That's the worst-case scenario. You're going to be hobnobbing with some of the big shots. You're going to be meeting some of the up-and-comers. You're going to be rubbing shoulders with legends. And you're going to get a great experience as far as like classes being taught. They're not 5 and 6 hours long, but it's not costing you $475 either. We have a winner for the $20 gift certificate, Chris Sorrell. He wins. We do have one last iGrill Mini to give away. So we'll probably do that after we talk with Tim Grant tonight. We'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll do cheese or font. Maybe we'll do winery or rehab. We'll see. One never knows. One never knows the games that we will play here. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, you're more than welcome to do so. Weigh in through the email, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. You can also go ahead and give us a shout right here on the phones, 877-448-0433. Maybe you want to weigh in on who you think has the best shot at winning King of the Smokers. It's not a traditional KCBS competition, although it is sanctioned through the Competitors Series. They're going to be doing whole chickens, all that stuff. Also, they're going to be cooking or using the same meats. They're bringing their own pits. Not electric, no pellets, no gurus, no stokers, no whatever else are pit temperature controlled devices that are not allowed. So kind of leveling the playing field, if you will. What is going on? Late. So I'm excited to see who pulls it out. Chris Lilly was last year's champion. I am trying to think who I think might have the best. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look over the break at the roster of teams. I'm punching it up right now. King of those. Huh? I'm going to look at the list. We'll go through it maybe piece by piece. King of. My fat fingers can't type very well. I apologize. I apologize to the Mathis. So I'm going to pull the teams up. We're going to go over the teams, see who's there, and we'll see maybe as a collective who we would place $758,000 on if this was picked up on Vegas. Sterling, does this thing have a line on it in Vegas? I need to know that. We need to know. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll see you here at the top of the hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Networks. Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how you going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
We ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome. It's the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling right here. We do. Yes, sir. Yes, we do. Every Tuesday. I got to double check how I'm getting in contact with Tim. Well, I guess I'm going to just have to call him on his mobile phone. Hopefully he's not in the office. That would go horrifically poorly. In a related story, that's redundant. All right. Congratulations to Chris Sorrell for winning the $20 gift certificate to the Barbecue Superstore. Let me pull it up here on the map. Actually, I think I can do it on my computer. Let me launch my desktop presenter on this computer. See if it recognizes it. Add Greg PC. Yeah, all right. No. Damn it. That's not the one I want. Delete. Presenter. That's the same damn one. Oh. Love a mic. Or I can change it here. How do I get my presenter to show up on the other 192, 160? All right, hold on. Give me a second. Don't worry. Give me a second. I know the audio probably dropped out. That's fine. Let me go to sources. PC, local. 192, 168, 102. Oh. Well, I have to fix that. Oh, God. So annoying. All right, give me 1 second, then I'll put it up here, and then we can look at it together. 192, 168, 102. All right. All right, now we got it. Now the question is, which presenter is that going to be? All right, that's the one. That's the one we want. That's the one we want right there. All right. Beautiful. Now let me pull up the main website here. KingofTheSmoker.com. And we'll go to Teams. All right, so now we can look at it together, right? And the first team that we have is Swamp Boys Barbecue. Rob Bagby, or Rub, as we call him in the industry. Certainly a formidable opponent, no doubt about it. Grills Gone Wild, Iowa. Then you have Smoke on Wheels, Andy Groneman. Blazin' Barbecue, not too familiar. QWOW, Mike Wozniak, the Wizard of Woz. When you look at, if you look at it, had a number of grand championships this year, was right in KCBS Team of the Year contention for the majority of the year. I think is currently in 5th place or something like that. I should probably check before I commit myself to anything in regards to who's in what ranking. 5th place. I was exactly right. Chris Lilly of Big Bob Gibson's Barbecue will be returning to try and defend or repeat as champion. You have Scott Nelson of Pigskin Barbecue, always a tough competitor. I guess not as in the headlines as he was last year, but still a tough competitor nonetheless. Now here's what I'm talking about right here. This guy, Gillies Barbecue, dark horse. You watch out. This guy has been all around it all year. This Gillies Barbecue. I saw him. I didn't see him. Did I see him? I think I saw him at the Smoking at the Run competition. Dave Qualls, are you listening? Text me if I saw Gillies Barbecue there. So I know, I remember talking with somebody that we were talking about Gillies out there. And let me go to the the instant chat. No Lang. All right, he's not there yet. Okay, so Lily's is my dark horse. Not Lily's, Gilly's barbecue. Then you have Just McGlawn, Lucky's Q, who admittedly he's been a little bit down this year, but showed very well at the Sam's Club final. Simply Marvelous Barbecue, not very familiar. Wine Country Q. Now watch out. Here's another potential dark horse that I would put money on. Absolutely. Tore it up in the Pacific Northwest this year. Then you have Ryan Newstrom's Big T's Q Crew. Obviously an Idaho team. So is Pigskin. Left Coast Q, Matt Dalton, and the Crazy Boys over there. They're a West Coast team. Gillies was reserve grand champion at the Smoking Expo. I knew it. I remember that because I said his name, right? Sorry. It was a long time ago now. Iowa's Smoky D's. Darren Worth will be in. He's having a fabulous year, another Iowa guy. Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew will be in. Joe Beeland, another Iowa team. Little Pigtown will be there. Jamie Gear of Jambo Pits is in. Dan Hickson of Three Eyes Barbecue. Pellet Envy. Rod Gray. Slap Yo Daddy Barbecue. Harry Sue. Chad Hayden of Moonswiners Barbecue. Not a, I don't know if we would call him a legend. Not a newcomer, but what did Chad do once? Won, I believe, the 19th annual Jack Daganiel's Cook-Off. Sweet Swine of Mine, Mr. Lambert, and Apple City Barbecue, which I am not familiar with. Apple City Barbecue. So those are your competitors for tomorrow I'll be speaking. Okay. Good night, everybody. I've had enough. Thanks for coming. Those are the teams for King of the Smokers. That'll be, again, taking place this coming weekend. If you're interested. All right, let me get off that screen. I want you to see my personal laptop, for crying out loud. You know, technology is so good. I mean, I got so many computers working here that I can't remember. I had something else going on here. Programming note, tomorrow we do return with Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe for the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. I'm also working on confirming my second guest for the evening. It's going to be great if it comes through. If it doesn't come through, guess what? Still going to be great. Yes. Oh, Adam, you're correct, and I'm an idiot. Yeah, of course that's Mike Mill, Apple City Barbecue. Hello. I just started in this barbecue game. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me give you a quick update on the Barbecue Central Meat Shop, your first and only place now to go buy your succulent chops, meats, barbecue foods, steaks, whatnot. If you are hesitant at pulling the trigger, this week we have a special in celebration of Cyber Monday, which was yesterday. But this code, or these codes, are good for the rest of the week through Friday of this week. You can take 15% off all steaks. All steaks. If you use the coupon code CYBERM, like Michael. CYBERM. You can also take 10% off all barbecue meats, briskets, ribs, so forth, barbecue meats. If you use the coupon code CYBERBBQ, all run together, CYBERBBQ. Again, 15% off all steaks for the rest of the week. CYBERM is your coupon code there. 10% off all barbecued meats if you use the coupon code CYBERBBQ, and you can go to the Barbecue Central Meat Shop. Barbecue Central Meat Shop. It's right there on the homepage, thebbqcentralshow.com. Very top right is Barbecue Central Meat Shop, and use CYBERM coupon code for 15% off steaks and CYBERBBQ for 10% off all barbecue meats. All right, we're coming back with Tim Grant. We also have a free iGrill Mini to give away. $40 value, if you will. I know you will. You might not. I know you will. That's crazy. You know, you laughed at me, and you laughed at me, and you laughed at me for the last number of months when I kept saying, hey, gang, holiday's coming. Might want to think about contacting my homie Steve DeFranco from Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Hey, well, guess what? Guess who's the smart guy now? Me. I listened to myself and got my stuff done. Now, it's your turn. I remember what you did last year. You screwed it all up. You said you were going to do something special. You said you were going to convey a certain feeling or get that message across in the right way. What did you do? You forgot. You went out. You bought another cookie. Your wife said, get out of my house, you rat bastard. Forget the rat bastarding and go right to StephenDeFranco.com. Peruse the inventory. Pick out something that you think is going to be right for your lady, for your male, same-sex lover, whatever it is. Love's love. And then call Steve once you found it on the website. Unless you're local. If you're local here, Cleveland, stop in. It's the corner of 91 and 84 in All Points. Right by Manhattan Deli. Shout out to Manhattan Deli. Love the Reuben. Love the Long Island iced teas, too, on Wednesdays for $5. And say, hey, Steve, I was perusing the website, and Greg told me to call in. Big fan of the show. Big fan. And we need to consult. Here are my thoughts on what I'm looking at. He's going to ask you, are these the things that you're really looking to do? What's your budget? Remember, feel secure in the fact that Steve's there to sell you on stuff. He wants to arm you with the best information possible so you can make an educated decision and meet your expectations and exceed the expectations of the person that you're going to be giving that gift to. Now, maybe you're giving a gift to yourself. I mean, he's there to help you pick what's best out for you. And he's done it for me time and time again. He's done it for top men in the barbecue and grilling industry, literally catering to this industry. Because at heart, Steve is a barbecue guy just like me and you. Not a girl, a guy, because he's a guy. So you call him 440-943-2700, 440-943-2700. Also, you can visit the website, StephenDeFranco.com, Stephen, DIFRANCO, and ask for Steve specifically on the phone. He owns it. He's going to give you the hookup, the free shipping, the gift wrapping, free batteries for life, setting the time on the watch if you get a watch, the extra year of warranty when you get the watch package. It's free of charge. It's all great stuff, and it's Stephen DeFranco bringing it to you, and you're going to thank me later. Oh, you are. We're back with Tim Grant right after this.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And welcome in Tim Grant to the show. Tim, how are you, man?
Doing good, Greg. How you doing?
Well, I haven't started this interview off very well. I had my mic off because I'm an idiot. I do at least once a show, Tim. I mean, I've been doing the show live for almost 7 years. You'd figure I'd realize to turn on a microphone when I'm doing a radio show. It's only like the most important thing. It would be like you not lighting the fire, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, man. First
Probably
time.
then being a Browns fan or something's gotten you all backwards.
Oh, I've stopped wasting my time with that nightmare on the lake, Tim. I'll thank you very much. Rumor has it you're being called in for a tryout for quarterback. Can you confirm or deny that?
Well, that's a rumor. So, I can throw the ball fairly decent. So, I got a shot.
Let's sign that guy. Let's do it. Tim Grant starting quarterback this Sunday. All right, Tim. So, roughly 7,000 different places that we can start with you tonight. But let's start here. Given the year that you've had, did you think that on December 3rd, 2013, we would be talking about how Team of the Year is knotted up at the top and how you're going to, I guess, forego the King of the Smoker invite and go battle it out with Donnie Bray again of Warren County Pork Choppers in Calhoun, Georgia this coming weekend?
Well, not really. Wasn't really at the top of my list. It's been kind of crazy, definitely here at the end. So I mean, we've we're lucky enough to still be at the top. So going to Georgia isn't the worst thing in the world, and we are pretty disappointed about missing Sterling's King of the Smoker event. As Sterling was saying, that's a high-profile event, and no one, especially if you're expected to go or invited to go, you definitely want to go. So it was a disappointment to miss that, but we have to do our thing and shore this Team of the Year thing up. So that's we're headed east instead of west.
Tim, I got a lot of email, believe it or not, after the newsletter went out a little bit earlier today, and people said, "Hey, ask Tim if Well, they were wondering if you were invited to King of the Smoker, which, obviously you were. But they said, if he is not going, does Team of the Year mean that much to forego, a potential decent payout? Is it not about the money at this point? Is it about attaining a Team of the Year victory if possible?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's definitely not about the money. It's unfortunately, that's one contest I didn't want to miss. But the entire year is spent, going after, for me anyway, the entire year is going after them points and trying to be the best team out there. And so that's what, without a question, that's just what I have to do. So my goal is to win Team of the Year and be the number one team. So, that's my goal first and foremost.
Tim, when you set out, and I know we talked about this a couple times during your visits with us this year, but when you set out at the start of 2013 and you were putting things together, did you have a Team of the Year in mind? Is that what this year was about, or is it something that you just kind of realized, hey, we're 2, 3, 4 months into this deal, we're really high in the standings, we're going to see this one out?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how it started. I mean, the last couple of years, 2 years ago, we really hit the circuit hard and, finished fourth overall. And we really, that kind of got in our blood. And so 2012, we really dedicated just going after Team of the Year. And the harder we tried, the less it worked for us. We actually finished 12th overall last year. And so we came into this year just, we were going to do, not nearly as many as 2012. And, the families and everyone said, promise us to do this. And we were, being on the road that much, it wears you out. So, I mean, it wasn't really on the top of our list to go after Team of the Year again and try to cut in every single contest that we could and be gone from home every weekend. But we really started out really hot. And, we got to the point quickly that we realized we had no choice but to, try to hit it again. And so, that's exactly what we did. I mean, we just kept going and had the year that we've had, which has been an unbelievable year and just crazy exciting for us. And so that's kind of how that rolled.
Maybe for the peripheral competition barbecue fan, Tim, how many events do you have in, excluding this coming weekend, how many events do you have in right now as we talk?
Well, I have, we've done 35 contests that have not been invites or, or the Sam's Club that did not count towards points. So there's 35 contests, regular contests that we've been to. If you count the Sam's and the Jack Daniels and the American Royal Invitational, we're this weekend it'll be 40 contests that we'll have cooked in.
Wow, 40 contests. I mean, simple math tells you there's 52 weeks in a year, so it's only 12 weeks where you have not been doing some type of a competition. Was there ever a point this year, Tim, where you were things are going great. You had a number of great winning streaks. You're doing a lot of things that probably nobody's ever done before in the world of competition barbecue that we've seen record-wise. Was there ever a point, because of how many competitions that you've been doing, that you were like, God damn, man, this is a grind and the luster isn't there? Anything like that at some point?
Absolutely. I mean, it's it kind of happened to different at different times for probably each of us. For myself or Boyd or some of the other guys that travel with us. But I've got such a great team that we kind of switched out. I attended every event. Boyd missed one contest. I had another buddy come in and help me out at that contest, but he took a weekend off to spend with his family. And other than that, it's just kind of like, there are times that I would say probably around August, September, it was pretty tough on us, but we just kind of tried to gather ourselves and catch that second wind. And, we were so, we had come so far at that point. It's just like, you really got a group, stay together as a group and finish this thing. And, we have really put on a lot of miles here the last month, and it's just been easier, I guess. I mean, I guess we can see the home stretch, the finish line, if you will. So, I can't tell you how excited we are that next weekend is going to be the last barbecue for 2013. So, we're ready to get to the awards. We're ready to have some fun, and we definitely want to take some time off.
Tim Grant from True Bud Barbecue joining me here on the show. Website truebudbbq.com if you want to check it out while we're talking. Tim, obviously I'm sure you would have preferred to have run away and hid from everybody else and the rest of the field at this point, but do you think that kind of how it sits now maybe has generated even more interest in the sport and has kind of kept competition barbecue a little bit more relevant at this time of the year than it normally would be?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's there's only been one other team that scored more than 2940, and Donnie Bray from Warren County Pork Choppers. I mean, he's a great guy. Him and I talk. We don't talk a lot, but we see each other every so often here lately, and it's just if you'd asked me last year, would it have took, would anybody be at 2940? I mean, I would have said, absolutely not. I just couldn't fathom a team nowadays having that many points. And for Donnie and I to both do it in the same year is just, it's unfortunate, but, for him and for me, but, I think it's really put a spin on the barbecue that, people all over the place are interested and excited, want to see a finish. And so it's definitely been, it's not something I was, ecstatic about when he tied me, but it's definitely, I think, put a lot of interest in the sport for sure, and a lot of people are interested to see how it's going to finish.
If we could talk about the year as a whole, Tim, lots of wins, unless I'm mistaken, more grand championships than any other team has been able to accomplish in competition barbecue history. How are you feeling in an overall sense now? I mean, obviously you're anxious for this coming weekend, but in an overall sense, how are you feeling about what you guys have been able to put together and accomplish this year?
Well, it's definitely a great accomplishment. I mean, I grew up an athlete. I ran college athletics. I ran track at the college level. I was an All-American. So, I mean, it's kind of honestly, I look at a lot of the awards that I came out of the athletic program in college and compare it to similar things that I'm doing in barbecue. It's just, to go, there's so many greats in this sport. And I think with the teams now today, how many, they talk about football. Well, will a football team ever win, 16 in a row? And it's just, can a team go undefeated? It's the same kind of in barbecue with so many teams. How can a team, stand out so far above the rest of them, in a time like this? I would have never thought it would be possible. And, there was a lot of luck involved. Everyone needs luck in this sport. But you have to be a good cook, and you have to get lucky. And so I'm very fortunate that what has happened to myself and my team, and the awards that we've achieved, and the records that we've set. I mean, we're very proud about it. So that's something that we'll cherish forever, and something that we're going to carry for the rest of our lives.
Tim Grant joining us here on the show, pitmaster of True Bud Barbecue. Tim, are there any specific areas or contests that you would go back and make changes to, or do you guys kind of roll with that no regrets policy? Once a competition is done, that's it, and you're moving forward?
I talked to you on your show a while back about cooking the same wherever I go, and I think I probably would retract that statement. I had never cooked in the Southeast. I just felt, I'd cooked all over the Midwest and the South and the West, and I'd cooked as far as Tennessee, but never really been in Florida or Georgia and so I think I was probably naive a little bit to think that the profiles. I was really talking from experience, and the West probably generates an easier road to go, if you will, for the Midwest barbecue than probably the Southeast. But I cooked twice this year in Florida, and I don't really have enough data to probably say that I would change a lot of my things, but I definitely would tweak some things. And if I could do those contests over again, I would probably tweak a little bit. Just to probably hit more of those southern profiles than I probably would have realized that I needed to do beforehand.
Kind of answers my next question. So if I can kind of make an impromptu follow-up to that, since you have kind of spread it around a little bit, holding that southeast portion of the country and knowing what you know now, how do you explain, or how are you seeing what the judges like in the southeastern part of the country versus where you're doing the majority of your competing and the majority of your winning? What do they seem to like that nobody else is?
Well, just the information that we're getting from our score sheets. I did the 2 contests in Florida, and I think probably the one thing that I was most interested in was probably some of my pork scores that I got, which, one contest I got 9th, and the other contest I won my table, but I got 23rd. So I don't really know if I, was on a bad table, or if I just, still had an okay pork table, but just didn't, they just didn't like it that well. So, I guess most of my information was just coming from talking to other teams and trying to figure out what they were doing and their flavor profile and what people liked in that area. I think that was probably more informational to me than maybe the scores that I was receiving from those 2 contests. But I just think that there's probably a little bit difference in maybe the pork profiles than there is in the Midwest or the Western states. So that's just kind of what I was thinking.
Tim Grant, True Bud Barbecue, joining me here on the show. TrueBudBBQ.com is the website if you want to check it out here while we're talking. Tim, this is going to be the third time you and, at least to my knowledge, the third time that you and Warren County Pork Choppers will be at the same contest together. Warren County GC'd both of the first 2 contests. Is that something that you don't really concern yourself with at all, or is it kind of in the back of your mind at this point?
Him winning, or just me going and him, me being in the contest where he was getting GCs? I mean,
correct.
If I'm his lucky charm, then maybe I don't really want to go to Georgia. But I don't. I'd like to think that that's not the case. But Donnie and I were talking. At one point in time, maybe Sterling was kind of introducing an idea of all those contests we've been at. Donnie and I have never been at the same table. So, it's kind of I might as well have been in Minnesota, I guess. But one thing that maybe we might try to do, is just kind of an idea, but maybe depends on how this weekend goes. But, there was some talk about maybe having a head-to-head somewhere and just just, not that it's going to count or mean anything, but just have a head-to-head to see how that would play out.
Is that something that you guys are both kind of open for? And I don't know if there's any type of perception or rumors going around that you and Donnie don't like each other or anything. But I mean, nothing could be further to the truth. Obviously, you guys are friendly, and this is a something that you guys are both invested in as a team. I mean, you both want to win, but there's absolutely no like bad blood or anything floating around between you guys, right?
No, absolutely not. And I think that there's rumors all over the place, and I think people actually, I just try to stay away from it, like all over Facebook or the bulletin boards, and I think people actually want us to hate each other.
Yeah.
And it's just it's kind of humorous in a way, but if you pay attention too much to that, it's just kind of disruptive to you for sure, especially to the goals that you're trying to set. And Donnie and I for sure don't hate each other. I mean, we're very, we talk to each other, and he's a very stand-up guy and very likable person, and there's definitely never has been any sort of bad blood or anything like that between the two of us for sure.
Yeah, both you guys certainly have been very classy during the course of the year, and I was actually hoping to grab Donnie for kind of a joint conversation with you tonight, but wasn't able to track him down. And, as someone who has hosted this show now for, almost 6 years live, it kind of harkens me back to, I believe it was like 2009 when you had Rod Gray and Darren Worth and Steve Farron, I Smell Smoke, Iowa Smoky D's, Pellet Envy, respectively. Kind of battling it out all the way till the end when they were down in Arizona, and Rod Gray ends up winning that particular competition and then Team of the Year. So, as it kind of comes down, I don't know. To me, it kind of brings back some great memories, and I think it does kind of generate that spark that helps bring more attention to the sport to a certain degree.
Yeah, for sure. I've heard, I see Rod and Darren and those guys at quite a few of my contests, and it has brought a lot of memories back about 2009, and heard a lot of stories about those years, and I think it's what's a little bit different is for this year is Donnie and I are so far away from each other that we really didn't see each other until right here at the end when I was went down south, and I saw him at the Jack, but I went into Kentucky. I can't remember when that was, September or whatnot, but, so I think it would probably been a little bit funner for the two of us if we'd have been in the same region as far as going against each other. But, it's also, because I never met him until, pretty much the September time frame when I went into Kentucky to compete at the contest. So I think it would have been just a little bit funner if we'd have known each other probably before that time frame.
Tim, do you have a little room to hang out for a second? We can do another segment?
Sure.
All right, let's do that. Let me put you on hold here real quick. Just hang back. We just got a couple minutes. Let me talk. We're going to give away one of these in, I think, after next segment. It's the iGrill Mini. The next generation iGrill has arrived, folks. You can pre-order now the iGrill Mini at iDevicesinc.com/iGrill for $39.99. The iGrill Mini has everything you love about the iGrill, so much more, with some smart LEDs that indicate the progression of your temperature, let you know when you are in and out of temperature range, proximity wake up to conserve battery, and it also has an outstanding battery life of up to 150 hours. You can get all these awesome features on a pocket-sized device at half the price of the original iGrill, $39.99 for the iGrill Mini with one meat probe and one probe wrap. The iGrill magnetically mounts to your grill or smoker and even comes with an attachable magnet in case you have a ceramic cooker or other non-magnetic surface. And a little info on the product itself. The iGrill, a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that pairs with your Apple or Android device using the free iGrill Pro app, which can be downloaded either through the iTunes App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on your operating system. Looking about 200 feet of range, so you can monitor the food from practically anywhere in your house. Gives you the free time to do what you want, with the assurance that your food is being perfectly cooked. Go watch the game, have a couple beers, go talk to the neighbor, mow the lawn. iGrill's got your food covered. And the iGrill has dual probe capability, so you can monitor 2 different pieces of meat at once. You can also measure the ambient temperature of your smoker or grill using the ambient temperature probe. Now, that can be purchased at iGrillInc.com. That's the letter I, the word grill, and then Inc, I-N-C. Now, within the app, you can set minimum and maximum temperature settings. If your grill or smoker gets too hot, your smart device will alert you. If you enter the promo code CENTRAL at checkout, you get 15% off everything at iGrillInc.com. And don't forget, they also offer free shipping in the U.S. on orders over $50. The free iGrill app for iOS has Facebook integration, so you can upload pictures of what you're cooking right into the iGrill Facebook page, and you can also use the Globe feature to see who else is cooking on iGrills all around the world. It's fabulous. iGrill Mini, get on the wait list. iDevicesInc.com/iGrill, $39.99. Get yours today. That's the iGrill. We're back with more Tim Grant right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we're back with Tim Grant from True Blood Barbecue. Let me see. Where did I lost your damn sheet there, Tim? Sorry about that. All right, so
one thing I'd like to talk about, I don't know if you had, I'd like to talk about some of the charities that Sterling was talking about, kind of maybe tell you about the charity that True Bud is going to use and stuff like that.
He didn't mention who you were going to be using specifically, but please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just kind of wanting to go in a little bit more details from a team perspective of, this Big Papa Elite team and really what it means to us as team members of this group. But, it's camaraderie and discussing, like Sterling was saying, and helping you guys, us as a team, just to kind of get through the year. A lot of us in this elite team really cooked a lot of contests, and like he was saying, that we're what we're doing this for is for a charity of our choice, and this is really True Bud is really proud to be a part of that group and to be to have a charity, a kids charity that we're going to donate to. And what we're looking at is we're working with the Dream Factory of Kansas City. And what this charity is about is helping terminal ill children. It's kind of like Make-A-Wish. So, these kids that really don't have a future because they have some type of cancer or whatever it may be. They make a wish of whether it's I want a 4-wheeler or I want to take a trip to Disneyland, and so this charity, the Dream Factory, provides that wish for these kids. And we've gotten involved with this charity already. We're going to be cooking for the board of directors and meeting some of the kids, and there's potential that we'll be doing charities throughout the year. But it really started out by the elite team, and driven toward a charity to donate, and that's how we really were introduced to this charity, and so we're really happy and proud to be a part of that.
And that's the one out of Kansas City, you said?
What's that?
Which one? Which location was this out of?
Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City. All right. I have the main website right here up on the screen on the video feed here. DreamFactoryInc.org is the website. So, I mean, is that a charity that you have like a personal connection to, or just one that you guys all agreed on that would be a good one to kind of donate back to?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually there's no personal connection. We don't know anybody that really was involved in this. I have found a couple people that I actually have known, some kids that have been helped out through this charity. But really, I saw it on the news one night, and the broadcasters were talking about a charity. I always wanted to I like the charities that are 100%. You donate money, and everyone's donating their time, and there's not an overhead, and you just know where your money's going. And they were really talking about this charity being that way, and that it was all about the kids. And instantly I was like, that's it. That's the group that we want to be involved in, and how cool would it be to help out these kids from our perspective, and to be able to make a difference and put smiles on kids' faces. I mean, I don't really even know how to explain it yet, but I think it's going to be the most coolest thing that True Bud's ever been a part of.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Tim Grant joining me here on the show. TrueBudBBQ.com is the website. Tim, if I can redirect just here for a second, this is going to be, you're going to be back down kind of in that southeast portion of the country again in Calhoun this coming weekend. Is this going to be like the third one in a row you've been doing down there? It was like two before. Yeah, right.
It's the last two I've been in Florida.
Yeah,
and this will be in Georgia.
Briefly, a little bit earlier, you talked about maybe you would have made some tweaks down there if you had it kind of to do all over again, knowing what you know. Will you be making any tweaks because of what you know now?
I do. I will be. I had actually, we had a weekend between the Florida contest and over Thanksgiving. I was none other but cooking some things to try a little bit of different recipes and profiles, and we had a bunch of taste testing. So we are, and that's unusual for us because we're cooking so much. We don't really want to cook at home, so. We were all thrilled about that, and I basically felt like throwing up afterwards. But anyway, it was, you cook 40 contests a year. I don't know about everyone else, but we can't stand eating barbecue. So, I always told Boyd, we're not going to get into a steak contest ever because, I don't ever want to not like eating steak. So, but so anyway, we're ready. We're prepared. We try to couple little things, and we're not doing anything crazy, changing anything. That's for sure. I mean, it's just a little tweak here and there, and I'm good to go. So we're gonna see what happens.
All right. So maybe this is where it gets for the folks that really kind of follow this and what's happening with you two, and maybe this is where it gets a little bit hairy for folks. I'm sure to you as well as to a certain degree, if one wins the contest, it doesn't necessarily mean that the tie will be broken because either you or Donnie win, correct?
No, that's not correct. If Donnie wins, he wins. If I win the contest, then that's an outright win. If I win the contest, it'll be an outright win. There's 70 teams in Calhoun, so it's going to be a 300 max. So it definitely will give whoever wins the contest additional points on the 2940.
Oh, okay. Now, so I was getting a little confused. Last week I was trying to get top men from the board of directors to talk about how team of the year is determined, and I guess there was some banter about where, if you won or if Donnie won, if that score didn't replace one of the top 10 scores that you had, then there would be no direct winner from that competition. They would have to start looking back at higher scores back from 10, 11, 12, 13. So
right.
This is going to be a straight up heads up. If you win, if he wins, that's going to push that team over the edge.
Yes, that's true.
Oh,
now,
thank God.
If he doesn't win or I don't win, then and we're talking about GC. You have to win,
yes.
Not just Donnie beat me or I beat Donnie. You have to be a straight up winner. Now, if neither one of us win, then we don't get any more points. It's we're stuck at 2940, and then they will look at the tiebreaker. So they will go to the 11th score and see to break the tie.
Well, I mean, I imagine you seem pretty analytical, Tim. Have you already made the looks back, and do you have all that information to know who would win if that were to be the case?
Yeah, I mean, it's Donnie's won 10 contests, and I've won 16. So I mean, all they do is go to the 11th score and see, if we had both won the 11th score, then they would have went to the 12th score. So, that they basically go to the next GC. So we would win the team of the year.
I would imagine that you would prefer to be either, win or not win off the heels of this competition, and kind of have the results decided like that, or because of the body of work, is there not really a preference other than just being really effing exciting? Is there not really a preference of how you would win it?
I would rather win the contest for sure. I mean, I would rather there not be, if you look at it on paper, there's a tie. Well, a lot of people don't really know about, probably the contest. There's the barbecue race, which, it's half the time it's not updated, but it's got most of the contests out there. I mean, unless you know about those types of websites, I mean, you're not going to know, that I've won 11 or 12 or 13. I mean, you're just going to know what those top 10 best scores are. So, I guess it's, I for sure would like to go into the contest and win it. I don't go to any contest and try to get second or third or fourth or fifth. So, I guess that is my goal. I would definitely want to go there. I want to win. It'd be great coming out of the last contest of the year winning. So it would just be an extra cap, feather in my cap, I guess, to say, we didn't finish in a tie, and from a number perspective, and it would definitely elevate it, I guess.
Tim Grant joining me here on the show. Wouldn't you know it, this guy shows up in the chat room. Donnie Bray is in there. Where were you all night? Rat bastard. Sorry. Tim, be honest. And I know you've never been nothing but forthright on the show, so I would expect nothing less. Between you and between Warren County, what are the odds that you feel are with either one of you winning versus the other 68 teams that are going to be out there? I mean, I guess when you stop to think about it analytically, the odds are completely not in your two's favor, right?
Well, I guess, why do you say that? I mean, I'm just...
Well, I mean, just in a sense of being like so many teams out there, 68 teams, I mean, yeah.
There's 70 teams. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a climb to win at a contest like that, especially I think it's even harder for me to win in a contest like that, just because I'm going somewhat into territory that's unknown to me. Now, I talk about making a few changes to my profile, but it's a guessing game. I don't know, I've cooked 2 contests in the Southeast, so, I may have a small idea, but I definitely don't have a good idea, if you will. So, I just want to go in there and cook the best that I can, and hopefully the judges will like what I'm turning in. But I do, it's not like the same comfort level that I would have cooking in the Midwest, that's for sure. So, it's definitely an uphill battle, but I'm ready for that battle. I want to get it over with. So, we're excited to go to Georgia, but, there's definitely a lot of things to cooking in Georgia.
Tim Grant is the pitmaster of True Bud Barbecue. You can visit the website, truebudbbq.com, and he will be throwing down with 69 other teams to include the team that he is tied with at the KCBS Team of the Year rankings right now, Warren County Pork Choppers. Tim, always appreciate the time. Of course, I wish you nothing but the best this coming weekend, and, no matter how it goes, we will be talking soon, whether you like it or not.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you having me on. It's been great.
All right, Tim. Thanks so much. There he is. Tim Grant. TrueBudBBQ.com if you want to check out the website. And Whether he knew it or not, hang with me for 2 segments. Joke's on Tim. I got him. And weighing in on a whole different number of topics. So the one thing that I didn't understand, or maybe I didn't, maybe it wasn't known, I don't know, is that last week, at this time last week, I was a little disappointed that potentially if one or the other won, and it wasn't replacing a score, that you were still going to go into a tiebreak situation. But Tim has now rectified that and said, regardless, whoever, if True Bud wins, if Donnie wins, or Warren County Pork Choppers, that's going to be enough to push them over the top, and that would be a deciding contest. So now I'm even more excited. And I don't even compete, and I'm excited. This is great. I can't wait. All right, quickly, let me talk to you about Fred's Music. Let me talk to you about Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply. TastyLicksBBQ.com. You see it right there, 800-677-2882, the phone number. And, we talk about it from time to time here on the show. Of course, Fred has a number of great products in his arsenal. They are in stock. They're ready to ship to you directly. Priced fairly. That's really what's most important. And they're in stock. You're not going to get jammed up by some fly-by-night website that's going to take your money and run and giggle all the way to the bank while you are left to sulk in your misery because you were jammed up on the internet again. No. You can go to Fred's website, TastyLicksBBQ.com. You can look at the line of grills that they have. You can look at the line of smokers that they have. They are well known as the experts when it comes to the big green egg. They are getting accessories made specifically for that. A lot of accessories that you can only get at Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply. You can't get anywhere else. Fred has taken the time and the initiative to make relationships with these people and say, hey, you should think about making this, or you should think about making that. It's a good show. It's my man, Jeff Northcutt, right there weighing in, saying it was a good show. Thank you, Jeff. Also, little known fact, except to the judging panel out there in the northeast quadrant of the country, Fred makes a great line of rubs and sauces as well. Tasty Licks brand. Lots of rubs. The sauce, the original sauce is good, but he makes a variety of rubs that are really, really good. And some of them don't have anything to do with barbecue, like the veggie blend, the garlic rub. I mean, these are all great things that can be used on a veritable cornucopia of things that aren't barbecue. So visit them online, TastyLicksBBQ.com. That's TastyLicksBBQ.com. And we are giving away a free iGrill Mini right now. Stick around and get ready to win it as soon as I can find a intro for the game. All right, here we go. Stand by for a free iGrill Mini right now.
On the show, ready to give stuff away for no money. That's why it's free of charge. You can win stuff and I'll give it away for free.
All right, your chance to win a free iGrill Mini, $39.99 in value. Yours for free, just for listening to the show. Send me an email in the subject line, TrueBudBBQ. TrueBudBBQ. And you can win a free iGrill Mini. Now, look, let me mention something. I believe you, by winning the free iGrill Mini, you win your way onto the pre-order list. I don't think they're actually dropped yet. Drop it like it's hot. But once they go for sale, then they will start to satisfy the pre-orders, and then you'll get it. So if you win, just be patient, for crying out loud. Be patient. Get your free iGrill Mini whenever you get it. In the subject line of the email you're about to send me, TrueBudBBQ, and you can win the free iGrill Mini. Thanks to iGrill for the giveaway, and that will conclude the 5 weeks of free iGrill Minis. Good luck.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we're back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Still looking for a winner here. I'm sure they will, as soon as they refresh, I'm sure we'll have like 50 different entries. And all right, here we go. First one in. With True Bud BBQ, Adam Pace wins. Adam! Look at that guy. Adam Pace winning. Uh-oh. What is that? Getting potentially some type of virus update or something. Who knows? I see a message in here from Jeff Northcutt asking if where did it go? If True Bud had to compete to try to keep Warren County pork choppers from winning. So unless I'm answering this incorrectly, I don't think he has to go compete because if Donnie did not win. Donnie would have to win in order to beat Tim outright. Likewise, Tim would have to beat Donnie outright at that competition to win outright at the contest. If neither of them win, then they go to the tiebreaker. So essentially, Jeff, if Tim didn't go to the contest, he could, I guess, hedge a bet that maybe Donnie wouldn't win it, and then no points are given, and then they would go to the tiebreak, and then ultimately Tim would win because of the body of work that he has been able to produce this year in the 14 or 15 grand championships that he has to Donnie's 10. So I believe I explained that right. But look, in the grand scheme of things, Tim is doing and Donnie is doing the exact right thing. They are going down. They are going to be throwing down for one last time in Calhoun, Georgia this weekend to see who wins. Because I fervently believe with every fiber of my undersized frame that one of those two are going to win. I mean, I'm not even going to qualify with the no disrespect because obviously I'm about to disrespect the 68 other teams that are going to be there. But I have to believe with everything that is on the line with either one or two of those guys doing it, one of those two teams are the odds-on favorite to grand over or to get the GC. I mean, it just has to be like that. The drama would be palatable, and so I have to believe with every fiber of my being, as I just said a second ago in a redundant fashion, that either Warren County or Tim and True Bud will win this coming weekend. Book it. No pressure, guys. No pressure. No one in pressure. All right, quickly, back in the first hour with Sterling Ball, kingofthesmoker.com, bigpapasmoker.com. King of the Smoker taking place this weekend, so, obviously two really huge contests coming up. So we'll see. We'll try and get interviews with winners of both next week if possible. And obviously, huge thanks and appreciate him taking time out tonight. Tim Grant from True Bud Barbecue. TrueBudBBQ.com, his website. Good luck to Tim this coming weekend. Also, Donnie Bray is in the chat room, so we wish Donnie Bray and Warren County Pork Choppers good luck as well. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9 with the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until tomorrow at 9, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.